We're in a 2014 Nissan Maxima. Going to do the plug-and-play remote starter from pluginstarters.com. We're going to start by removing the side panel of the dash. Okay, from here, we should be able to remove the dashboard cover piece after we remove the Phillips screw located inside this panel. Over on this side, we have a climate control mechanism. We're going to go ahead and we're going to unplug the plug, and we're going to remove the hose from it. You'll see it when I take the dash off. Okay, if you look over here, there's a hose right here, and there's a small plug. We've unplugged these two things, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to unplug all the stuff from the dash here. If you look, go ahead and remove all the plugs. There's retainer clips on each one. I'll show you how they work. Okay, we've unplugged this one. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to push the clip and unplug the next one. I'm going to press the clip and unplug the next, and we're going to repeat the procedure and unplug all the plugs. This is the key port plug. We're going to unplug that also. Okay, our vehicle is apart and we're ready to begin the installation. I'm going to go over a few of the plugs on this harness. First plug is the key port plug. We unplug the key port, we plug this plug into the key port, we plug the key port plug into this. It's called an interruption. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to interrupt the key port. I'm going to show you where the key port is. Okay, you're looking at the dash. I have it laying on the floor, piece that we took off on the driver's under dash. This is the key port. We've unplugged it during disassembly. The plug is right here. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to interrupt the key port with the key port plug. So we're going to plug in our male connector to the key port, and then we're going to plug our key port plug into our T-harness. Make sure the plug locks in. So we've done our interruption on the key port. The next interruption I want to talk about is the brake pedal interruption. The brake pedal switch is located right on the brake pedal. We're going to do an interruption at the brake pedal switch also. We're going to do the interruption at the brake pedal, so I'm going to show you the plugs on the harness that will do the interruption on the brake pedal. So we're going to release the brake pedal plug, and then we're going to plug this male plug into the brake pedal, and then we're going to plug the brake pedal plug into this female connection. Okay, we've done our interruption at the brake pedal, plugged in our T-harness there. The last connection I'm going to show you that is an actual interruption is the diagnostic plug connector. Okay, so we have a female diagnostic plug connector and a male diagnostic plug connector. We're going to release the diagnostic plug from its holder. We're going to snap this plug into the holder. Then we're going to plug the diagnostic plug from the vehicle into this plug. I'm going to show you how that's done. Okay, the diagnostic plug is located on the back side of the dash that I have dropped down. I'm going to show you basically what you want to do with that. You want to release the diagnostic plug by pushing the tabs in on the side and removing it from its holder. Almost do it with your finger. Okay, with the diagnostic plug removed, I'm going to take the diagnostic plug that's on the T-harness and we're going to snap it into the diagnostic plug bracket. And we're going to make sure that it locks down. Now we're going to take the diagnostic plug of the vehicle that we previously removed and we're going to plug it into the T-harness. Okay, make sure this connection goes all the way in. This supplies the power for the system. Okay, we're going to go over the last mandatory connection to start this vehicle by remote. The last connection is at the push button of the vehicle. We want to get to the harness behind the push button, so we can remove a Phillips screw right here, and that'll allow us to pick up on this dash a little bit here, and we can get up behind the push button and we can actually unplug it. We want to take the dash bezel completely off. We remove the Phillips screwdriver from this side, and then we can unsnap this dash bezel. Pull it right out. So right now I'm just going to reach behind this, press the clip, and unplug the push to start button. Then I'm just going to replace the dash bezel. Okay, so now we have the push to start button right here. It's taped up with a couple other harnesses. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to separate the harnesses. Just going to pull it a little bit while we hold the wire so we don't pull the wires out. Now we're going to make a connection at this plug. We're going to need to orientate ourselves like the instructions. Look at the plug from the back. We're interested in the wire in this bottom corner. It's a brown wire. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to just separate the brown wire right there so we can see it. We're going to make a connection to this brown wire and then we're going to start the vehicle. Okay, we're going to use a 3M T-tap to make this connection. You can do a strip and wrap. When using T-taps, they must go on correctly or it will not work. If you go and you finish this and the car doesn't crank at the end, this is the first connection to check. And then if you're having problems like that, I would do a strip and wrap. So I've applied the T-tap and I'm going to work it in, but I'm not going to pull it so hard I damage the wire. Now I'm going to take the white with a black stripe that we have coming off of the Evo with an end terminated to it, and we're going to plug it into the push to start button wire, the brown wire. Now I'm going to go up behind the bezel and plug this back into the push button. Now when you do this, you're going to want to route your wire up through the back here, because once you snap this on, go to snap this back together, if you don't route your wire up through the back, then you'll have a wire running around the front when you go to put it together. So go ahead, and we've got that in. We've got our push button plug. We're ready to plug that in. We plug that in. Clip goes down, facing down. And we're ready to go ahead and program the Evo. Just going to snap the bezel back in place because we don't need it off anymore. Okay, we're ready to program the Evo all. First and foremost, this key has to be in the key port. So we're going to insert a fob into the key port before we start. We still have the key port connected and the dash is sitting here. Now we will take the Evo and we'll remove all the plugs from it. The first plug we're going to deal with is the 4-pin data plug. We're going to want to hold the 4-pin data plug while we insert it into the Evo. These lights are going to light up on the front. They'll scroll around. We want to release on yellow. If we miss it the first time, we can let the light scroll around and we can release it the second time. So we have yellow there, then it'll go, do a couple other cycles. here's yellow, we release. Okay, if we mess up, just unplug the 4-pin and do it over. Release on solid yellow. Don't touch the button from this point on while we're plugging in the remaining plugs. I'm going to start with the 20 pin. We're going to use the white plug. And depending on the sheet, you'll be required to plug in RL1 or RL2. We're going to plug in RL1 first. I didn't look at the sheet before I did this. It's going to be one or the other. If it doesn't work when I'm done, then I switch to RL2. Okay, so at this point, we go ahead and we have everything plugged in. We have the Evo. We're on solid yellow. We press the program button 2 times. 1, 2. The yellow light's going to flash, and we're waiting for a yellow and a red LED to come on. There's red solid. Now we're going to press the button. The yellow and red's going to come on. And we're going to press the button again. Then we're going to wait for the blue light to flash. We're going to press the button 2 times. The lights are going to alternate. We're going to wait. We're going to leave the ignitions on. It's actually doing its decryption for the immobilizer at this point. We'll know when the Evo's ready. The lights will stop flashing. And it will blink a solid yellow light. At this point, the Evo all is programmed. We can now press the ignition button and turn the ignition off. We can now press the ignition button to turn the ignition off. We can go ahead and we can test our system. We can remove the key from the key port, and we can go ahead and we can lock the doors 3 times with the OEM fob. Okay, so we did not have cranking of the vehicle. This vehicle will require RL2. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to step on the brake pedal and hold it down. The car will start. This is how we know we need to switch to RL2. If you check the chart before the installation, you'll see which one you require. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to turn the vehicle off, and we're going to switch from RL1, the red plug, to RL2. Now this time we're going to close the vehicle and we're going to try it from outside. Okay, we've switched the RL1 wire to RL2, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to activate the remote starter. One thing we want to check is that the brake lights come on when we activate the remote starter. If the brake lights don't come on, then the RL1 and RL2 are either incorrect or not connected at all. Okay, we have our brake lights. Okay, the vehicle is cranked over, started, and will run for 15 minutes. When we walk up to the vehicle, we can enter the vehicle by pressing the button on the door. We would open the door, we would get in the vehicle, close the door, step on the brake pedal. At this point, the vehicle is running on the fob and not the remote starter. We would drive the vehicle, and when we're done driving it, we would press the on-off button to shut the vehicle off. Okay, we're going to connect the parking light connection on this Nissan Maxima. We're going to look down here at the fuse box. There's 3 plugs. On this Maxima, we're looking for the red wire with a blue stripe located right in the center bottom pin on this plug. If you look at the instructions, it'll show you the plug. We're also going to verify this connection before we make it, as with any connection. We're going to put a test light on it, and we're going to activate the parking lights. The test light will light up when the parking light switch is in the on position. At this point, we're going to go ahead and we're going to tap that wire and make a connection. Okay, we're going to use a 3M tap, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to connect it to this wire, and then we're going to connect the brown wire from the Nissan harness to the wire that we've tapped. Make sure the tap plugs in completely and locks in. You should not be able to pull it out. At this point, we have parking light control. With parking light control, when we activate the remote starter, the parking lights of the vehicle will be activated. We can also shut the vehicle off if you have auto headlamps and that auto on your switch. You need to make another connection to the door pin switch. This vehicle does not have auto lamps, so that connection does not have to be made. If you have auto lamps and you want to make the connection, see our Infinity G37 video.